Can you draw out Leviathan with a fishhook, or press down his tongue with a cord? Can you put a rope in his nose, or pierce his jaw with a hook? Will he make many pleas to you? Will he speak to you in soft words? Will he make a covenant with you to take him for your servant forever? Will you play with him as with a bird, or will you put him on a leash for your girls? This excerpt was taken from Job chapter 41. Here, the Leviathan is created into a monster who obeys no one. In other books of the Bible, including Revelation, Psalms, Genesis, and Matthew, it is portrayed differently depending on the cultural views. No matter the book, though, we can easily say that the Leviathan is a creature which is far superior to humans. These are the wonders of the Leviathan.
Monsters similar to the Leviathan have been recorded as early as the 3rd millennium BC. Cultures such as the Babylonians, Canaanites, Egyptians, and Assyrians depicted this monster as a test against their own gods. Stories such as Baal versus Yam are seen on Syrian seals. The scenes often showed that of a wriggling serpent, also known as the Mighty One with 7 heads. This story of 2 clashing deities are very common in this era. The encounter is something of a metaphor for ancient kingdoms and empires. When 2 civilizations battle one another, their own gods were also battling. The kingdom with the more powerful god wins the battle, and the loser adopts the winner's deity. This is where the Leviathan comes in significantly. The Leviathan is always portrayed as the barbarian or the enemy forces.
The Leviathan begins to show up into the Jewish religion when the people start to encounter other civilizations. When they enter Canaan, the Old Testament tells us that they started to adopt various aspects from various surrounding civilizations. The Canaanites pass on the idea with their own monster, the Lotan sea monster, while the Babylonians tell us of their goddess of the sea, Tiamat. Now, with their own version of this monster, the Hebrews created their own myths and legends starting the Leviathan. One Hebrew story tells us that there were 2 Leviathans, a male and a female. The female was sacrificed, salted, and its flesh served to the people. It was believed that without doing this, the world would be destroyed by the powerful duo of destruction. In the Middle Ages, Christianity also starts to take hold of this idea of the Leviathan. The dark time portrayed the sea serpent as Satan and would endanger both God's creatures by eating them and his creation by destroying it. Described as a chaos of water and a demon of envy, the Leviathan was not welcomed warmly by new Christian faith.
Nothing on earth is its equal, a creature without fear. It looks down on all that are haughty. It is king over all that are proud.
The Leviathan can be found in numerous books. While not a huge part of the story, the Leviathan is found in Revelation, Psalms, Genesis, Matthew, and most prevalently, Job. In Revelation chapter 12, verses 1 through 17, the Leviathan is mentioned while a woman is giving birth to a son, who is to rule over all people with a rod of iron. While she is birthing the boy, a red dragon with 7 heads, 7 diadems, and 10 horns appears in heaven. And a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was pregnant and was crying out in birth pains and the agony of giving birth. And another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon, with 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his head 7 diadems. His tail swept down 1/3 of the stars of heaven, and cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she bore her child, he might devour it. She gave birth to a male child, one who is to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. But her child was caught up to God and to his throne. It is interpreted that the woman in the story is Mary and the baby is Jesus. The crown of 12 stars on her head is a symbol of the 12 tribes of Israel. The red dragon symbolizes Herod and his envy of Jesus' power over his people. When the dragon's tail sweeps down the stars of heaven, it portrays Herod's murder of newborn males. Since Job is the most prevalent of the books including the Leviathan, it is most looked to for references of evil and barbaric acts. Job focuses on the coexistence of good and evil.
Leviathan is a popular icon in modern-day culture. The creature is featured in video games such as the Leviathan Warships. It is also makes an appearance in the hit show Supernatural. The depiction of the Leviathan in pop culture has been altered greatly, and it can be seen as a shapeshifter, an alien, a demon, and more commonly, a sea serpent. Despite the Leviathan's biblical origin, it is not always pictured in a popular culture as being a creature of God's hand. It is usually portrayed in science fiction scene, and its connection to God is not mentioned or explained.
In that day the Lord will punish Leviathan the fleeing serpent with his fierce and great mighty sword, even Leviathan the twisted serpent, and he will kill the dragon who lives in the sea.